Hi guys, Scott Emerson here, and I want to talk about property tax. Got quite a few things coming down the pike this year. Four of them, as a matter of fact. Got a huge school bond. We've got two ESD districts or taxing entities, and we have a hospital district. I'll speak first to the two ESDs. Emergency Management District, one for firefighting, one for EMS. Their levy is 10 cents each per $100 valuation. So 20 cents per $100 valuation tax increase to improve our fire department and our EMS, our ambulance service. The hospital district is 35 cents per $100, but the local committee is recommending 13-cent levy per $100 valuation. Right now, our hospital, Scenic Mountain Medical Center, is owned by Steward, and they lease from basically a fund, or it's a lot of 401ks and stuff. They bought the hospital and they lease it to Steward. Now, the Steward representative told us that this hospital makes money, but the Steward Corporation gets all the money out of state, and then they decide what bills to pay, and a bunch of their other 400 hospitals do not make money. So that is why some of our local vendors and contractors have not been paid by Steward. They're actually taking the profit made at Scenic Mountain Medical and paying other bills with it. The hospital district basically will be responsible for, as far as I can tell, the buildings and the upkeep, and not the doctor's pay or anything, but I guess it could be. But the quickest thing coming up for the taxpayers on this May election, actually this next month, early voting starts in April. Last day to register to be able to vote in this election is April 3rd, which is coming up this week, I believe, on a Wednesday. So if you want to vote either yes or no on the school bond, you need to be registered to vote. Check with Jody Duck on FM 700 at the new voting center to find out if you are registered, or that's where you would go to register. So it's a $219 million bond, and it is, I've got their website up where I can see it. There is, let's see, 216 million is to build a new high school, to fix the drainage problems on some current schools, to replace some air conditioning, to build bleachers and a new soccer field at the ATC Center up on by Birdwell Park. And what else? There was something else that was involved in that. Let's see. I'll go real quick and look at it because it was fairly replaced 30 R22 air conditioners, drainage at 4 elementary campuses, new maintenance and transportation shop, new band and music hall at Goliad Elementary, and abate and demolish the existing high school and build a new high school. So let's look at some of that. Last year, or a couple of years ago, we bought new buses. The new buses won't fit under the awnings at the new bus barn, so hence them wanting a new bus barn. Thought we had a welding class that could take care of that, but I guess they'd rather have new. Drainage at 4 elementary campuses. Okay, that leads me to past history of the school district. Let's go back to when we built a new middle school. They chose a site for the new middle school. Hundreds of citizens went to them and told them that used to be a landfill. If you build there, it will sink. They built there anyway. The school sank. The architect firm that was responsible for building that limited themselves to $100,000 liability, and we spent over $1 million trying to keep it from sinking, and as far as I know, it's still sinking. The next fiasco was the new elementaries. We tore down some elementaries and built some new ones, but we built them below street level grade. You could drive down Washington, you can drive down Birdwell Lane, look at Washington School, and you will note that you're looking down at it. Well, at least in this contract, the people responsible for building and doing the engineering on the school were held responsible, we sued them, and Big Spring Independent School District settled for less than half of what it's going to take to fix the problems. That's why it's included in this bond issue. Let's talk about the bond issue itself. Now, they tout $219 million and a 31.8 cent per $100 evaluation increase in your taxes. Let's talk about that number after taxes. You take that number and you do a 30-year note at the interest rate that they're saying is 4.8%. I think 6% is probably a lot closer in today's loan format. But at using their number, 4.8%, that comes to $413,646,165.36. Now, that number can change depending on whether it's a daily or monthly accrual, but I think that's a low number using the 4.8% interest rate. That's nearly $500 million. $500 million for a new school, and some other problems that we never probably should have happened in the first place. Will that improve the kids' education? Well, let's hope it does if we spend it, because right now we're at a C grade, the last that I can find, and before that we were at a D grade. Our school's ranking, Big Spring High School's ranking, is low in the state, and it is low in the nation. So I prefer our kids get a better education than a better school. It is what it is. We'll see how it works out. There were 60 hand-picked committee members that decided to eat this elephant all in one bite. I was always taught you how to eat elephant, one bite at a time. We're going to try and swallow every problem that we have in one bond election. That's crazy way to do it, but it's what we're going to do. In speaking with the committee members, a couple of the committee members, I asked if they were going to build the new school with concrete conduit underneath it with the plumbing lines laid in them to where 70 years from now it'd be easy to replace, or if in the subsequent floors we would put in drop ceilings so that we could drop those ceilings and replace the plumbing in those. And they thought that the comment was, man, that's a great idea, I'll recommend that. And my response was, that's how the current school is built. They then informed me that yes, there are concrete tunnels and conduit underneath the school that the plumbing runs in, but it's all encased in asbestos. And we would have to abate that asbestos before we could replace those lines. My response to that was, you're going to have to abate that asbestos if you tear it down. So why is that cost exorbitant to replace the lines, but it's okay if we tear it down? The old elementaries that we tore down, I went to Washington, and I can remember the placard on the wall that said fallout shelter, and it had like an atomic symbol on it. And I don't think we're worried about atomic bombs these days, but we're worried about nuclear bombs. I don't think any school is going to save any of us from a nuclear bomb. But I do know that the current high school is a great tornado shelter because those walls are block. Then they have a brick veneer on the outside and a plaster or sheetrock on the inside. And so new construction does not seem to be built that way. If you watch the elementaries get built, they're basically metal buildings with a brick facade. And I'm sure the new high school will be that way. I noted that they plan to start the new build on the high school where the east parking lot and Blankenship Field are. For those of y'all that don't know, Blankenship Field is named for the high school superintendent that was superintendent when we built Blankenship Field. And I know that y'all all know and have noticed that since we spent $1 million plus on Blankenship Field to redo the walking track and improve it, they have closed it to the public. All school grounds are now closed to the public. I used to practice baseball in Washington Elementary's playground, and they now have that closed off to the public. So the way it is. We pay for it, but we don't get to use it. Both the VA and the courthouse, built around the same time as the school, have recently replaced their plumbing lines. The VA replaced the water supply lines in the VA at a cost of $2.2 million. They hadn't replaced the sewer lines yet, but those are next. The courthouse has replaced both sewerage and water lines. They didn't tear down the courthouse to do that. They just replaced the infrastructure. And I think that's the way to do this high school replacement. So it's going to be up to y'all to vote on it. I think there are about 600 school district employees and they have spouses, so that correlates to about 1,200 yes votes. The committee is another 60 and they have spouses, so you can add another 120 to that, get you around 1,400 yes votes for sure. I'm sure some of the school parents will also fall for the numbers that they're saying it will increase your taxes and vote yes too. Probably going to take 15 to 2,500 no votes in a May election, generally a very low turnout election. City council is usually the only thing on it. We do have 2 city council races up to vote, but this big issue, this $500 million school bond, is the big issue in May. So go get registered to vote and put your 2 cents in, either yes or no. I would prefer that we vote no on this one. The school will immediately start over again, and hopefully the second time they'll do it in smaller bites. I can see some propaganda coming down the pike, much like Midland did to pass their school bond election on the 3rd try, and that is going to be TikTok and Instagram and Facebook ads with kids going, why don't you want me to have a new school? Well, I want you to have a good education, kiddos, not necessarily a new school to do it. If we were A or B grade schools, that'd be great. I know that I've been asked by a lot of people, why did Big Spring School District change the format of the elementaries from neighborhood schools with grades 1 through 5 in each of the neighborhood schools to putting all the grades into one elementary, 1st grade in one, 2nd grade in another, and so on and so on. Well, they did that to avoid the state from coming in and taking over the school district because of our failing grades. It basically got the school a reset, and we are still using that reset today. I look for the day when the grade gets low enough and it looks like the state's coming in again, they'll reformat and go back to neighborhood schools and get another reset, but we'll see. A couple of years ago, I met with Jay McWilliams about, with a representative from Nike that he hooked us up with, about Northside Movement and their back to school program that we do every year, and to get Nike to donate some shoes to it. And they did. And at the end of that meeting, Jay informed me that his legacy for his career was going to be a new high school in Big Spring. And I told him that I would be his loudest opponent. And since then, our relationship has kind of dissolved to where we don't talk much to each other. But here I am, being his loudest opponent. I think that last year the school brought in $37,299,412, and I'm not sure that money is always spent in the most frugal way. This increase is going to bring in a whole bunch of money at one time, and once this bond 30 years from now is retired, we will probably still be a C-grade school, in my opinion. I don't know what it's going to take to fix that, but I know this $500 million isn't going to fix it, even though they'd like you to think it would fix it. So where are we going from here? That's dependent on the voters in Howard County and how you decide to vote on this. It's a scary thought of what it's going to do to mortgage payments and, $400 or $500 increase in your values and your taxes is going to raise your insurance, and it's going to empty your escrow account. And bankers are notorious about wanting that escrow account to be full of money so they can pay your insurance a year ahead and your taxes a year behind. So y'all go vote. The early voting starts in April. The actual election is May. I'm a no vote. I don't know whether you're a yes or a no vote, but you're going to get to decide. Thank you very much, and I will post a couple of items below to where I got some of the numbers that I'm touting, and you can go to their website and look at what they're putting out there. They've answered a lot of my previous questions, and we'll see if they answer any of these new ones. Coming forward, there's a place there where you can ask questions, so please do. Try to be informed. I'm going to go to the next, if I'm available to go, I'm going to go to the next tour if they'll have me. I want to see what they're showing you firsthand instead of watching it on KBST. I hope y'all go too. I think everyone should go on the tour and decide for themselves. But I know this, you wouldn't tear down your house to fix the plumbing, the air conditioning, or the roof. We shouldn't tear down this school to replace the plumbing, the air conditioning, or the roof. Thank you.